enemies.
Mark Urban there. And now some questions for you. What day of the week is it? What's the name of this programme? Is the Pope Catholic? If you answered Thursday, The Graham Norton Show and What's the Pope, it's possible you're celebrating the end of an alcohol-free January by committing a violent assault on your drinks cabinet. For the whole of January, tens of thousands of people have given up the demon drink. Some have done it for themselves, some for charities like Cancer Research, which has been encouraging drinkers to enjoy or endure a dry-a-thon. No alcohol for a month, but lots of sponsorship money for the charities. The figures suggest a lot of us could do with realising that water is not just a mixer. In 2010, in England and Wales, people spent £42 billion on alcohol. It's been estimated around 17 million working days are lost each year due to alcohol's effects, and that's not all. In 2010-11, there were more than 1 million alcohol-related hospital admissions in England. And in 2011, according to the Office for National Statistics, going on for 9,000 deaths in England and Wales were alcohol-related. So for some people, drink is making them take days off work, making them ill, and making them dead. Let me walk in a straight line over to where our guests are waiting. Richard Taylor is from Cancer Research UK, one of the charities who encouraged people to give up the drink for a month. Andrew Langford from the British Liver Trust disapproves, and the journalist Peter Oborne, well, Peter's had a torrid month on the wagon, with only 1 or 2 lapses, I believe, Peter.
4 or 5 lapses.
All right, we'll count them in a minute. First, Andrew Langford, tell me why there's something wrong with people abstaining for a month.
There's nothing wrong at all with people abstaining for a month. I think it's a great opportunity to look at people's drinking, people to think about how much alcohol they're drinking, whatever else. What is very important is that they then look at that for the rest of the year too. So if we're to look at the health benefits of giving up the booze, then it's very important that people look at that all year round, and particularly on a weekly basis.
And do you think that's going to happen with these charity efforts?
Yes, I think it could do. I think that if we can give very clear messages that people, if they take 2 to 3 days off every week and have a couple of dry days every week, consecutive days, then they can also benefit their health.
Is it good for people's livers, though, to abstain for a whole month and then start again on February the 1st?
Any period of abstinence is good for the liver. What would be a shame is for those people that have abstained during January, obviously if they return to the same drinking habits that might have been problematic beforehand, then any good they'll have done will slowly be undone.
Richard Taylor, you've been trying to abstain, haven't you?
I certainly have.
How's it been going?
Well, I can't say I've enjoyed every moment of it. I've lapsed.
Has it been the longest month of your life?
Yeah, I think that's a fair way of describing it. I lapsed for one night. That was on my birthday. That was all.
Big lapse?
No, just a couple of drinks.
But you were raising money for charity, though. I think you donated some extra money.
Yes, absolutely. So Cancer Research UK, where the triathlon has come from, we've had 35,000 people take part in that campaign, and essentially it's not been a health campaign, it's been a fundraising campaign. So the motives for those individuals taking part has been much more about raising money for cancer research. So £3 million in a month. So a lot of good has come out of this campaign.
Well done you, but are you worried about the health effects on people who may not be?
Oh, well, of course, yes, we're worried about the health effects of alcohol. I agree with everything that Andrew said. I think the point I'm making is that we're concerned with finding new treatments for cancer patients, and £3 million goes a long way into research into that very problem. And that's where this campaign has been particularly successful.
Andrew, what about Richard buying his way out of his dry month?
I have to say I do find that quite difficult. I think it makes it almost like a joke to be treating any alcohol in that way. I think if it came with the caveated message of saying, alcohol does cause problems for a lot of people, and if we're looking at 16,500 liver deaths every year, the majority of which are alcohol related, then I think whatever messages go out, particularly from health charities, need that extra message with them to say this is a serious problem.
Richard?
Yeah, well, I can't disagree with Andrew. We've been very careful with the statements we've put out in the campaign. We've encouraged people not to start drinking with a vengeance as soon as February comes around. So I think from that perspective, there's not much to disagree with. But I'm not here to, I think, pass judgment on people's ordinary drinking habits. And I think to have 2 or 3 glasses once only in a month is hardly a problem. It's not going to lead me to start an alcohol binge from tomorrow. I think that's slightly absurd.
Peter, was yours for charity or just for yourself?
No, I was asked to do it by the Daily Telegraph on behalf of Alcohol
Well,
Concern.
that's for your own charity, isn't it? That's...
I obliged, yes.
How's it been?
Do you know, it was even more desperate than I thought it was going to be. I mean, this glass of Glenmorangie is really quite delicious, you know.
Was that your... You said you lapsed 4 or 5
4
times.
or 5 times, I'm afraid.
Does that
yeah.
really mean 7 or 8?
No, it means 4 or 5 serious lapses, though. But there's still 26 days when I didn't have a drink in January.
Yeah.
It's a long month.
It's a bit of a daft month to do it, isn't it? If you're really trying to abstain, it's about the longest, darkest month of the year, isn't it? But you should do this in July.
No, I don't agree. I think what we've tapped into here is a social norm where people at New Year decide they want to either lose a bit of weight or they want to save a bit of money. And in this case, we've encouraged them to exercise a bit of self-discipline. That can't be a bad thing, to reflect on how much alcohol you take in a month and put the money to a better cause. I think it's the perfect time of year to do it.
What was the cause of the lapses, Peter?
It's just jolly hard work, giving up drink. And you go out to dinner with friends or something, it's incredibly antisocial, actually, just to sit there munching on mineral water. And so I thought I did rather well, actually, at just the 5 lapses or so.
What was the cause of it? Social occasions?
Social occasions, I think, they're the dangerous ones. I very much agree, by the way, that I think what I did find was that I felt so much healthier all month. I hadn't really anticipated this. I slept well. Instead of waking up in the middle of the night, sleep. I lost quite a lot of weight, I think. I felt much healthier.
Because you were worried, you said in the Telegraph, you were worried about becoming alcohol dependent.
I think I realised I definitely was alcohol. There's no question. If I resented not being able to have a drink in the evening as much as I definitely did, it became clear to me that I definitely was alcohol dependent.
And how is it now with the whiskey?
It's delicious, but I do think there's a great deal of wisdom in what you're saying. That if one could try and give up for 2 or 3 days a week, and actually just sort of lay off it a bit. I think that is a way of just making sure you're in charge. I mean, just imagine how awful it would be if it got to a stage, as it does happen to some people, that you can't drink at all.
Yes.
You couldn't live.
Well, it would be. I just realised how dreadful it would have been over the last month. I mean, just imagine that became years and years, sort of purgatory, really, without the...
So are you saying all these positive things because you're on the telly, or are really in February and March you're going to abstain 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 days a week?
I'm going to aim to carry on abstaining 2 to 3 ideally days a week, because I just realised how much how I got addicted to the stuff. I hadn't realised, and so but I do enjoy it. You've just got to, everything in. You've got to manage it properly.
But don't you find teetotalers the most awful bores?
Yeah, they're dangerous as well. George W. Bush was a teetotaler. Hitler was a teetotaler. They go around the place starting wars. Winston Churchill, on the other hand, fought Hitler marvellously with a sort of diet of champagne and brandy. So teetotalers, watch out for them. Watch out for them. You're much safer with somebody who drinks. And
how does it feel now? How much have you had tonight? We started making you drink in the green room, I know. Does it feel good?
It feels quite lovely. Yeah, it does.
Yeah. You've been a bit more abstemious, I think. You haven't really made a big dent in that.
No, I've had a couple of gulps, but I'm rather looking forward to my first drink for a month. And,
will your behaviour change in February?
I think it probably will. I think, like Peter, I think I can imagine not drinking for 3-4 nights a week without any trouble at all, because I've seen the benefits of it. Like you, I've slept better, I've lost weight, and I have to say I've saved some money.
Andrew, is any of this going to have an effect on the nation's liver?
It will, if people carry this on, and if they take the example that's been set, then I think it's very important.
All right. Well, look, thank you all very much for taking the time. Good luck throughout February. We'll see how it goes. Thank you. All right, that's all from Newsnight for tonight. And for this week, Kirsty will be here on Monday. From all of us on the programme, have a good weekend.